Sorry for coming a little late to this party. I was encouraged to take Christmas and New Year off by my dearly beloved, and besides, it's a superhero film. I've seen more superhero films than Script Guy took showers last year. They're all pretty much the same. Safe, boring, full of CGI, and I was occupied with other things like Baileys, finding yet another useful week-old turkey, and trying to work out if I was allowed to eat the last Ferrero Rocher. Spoiler alert, I was. But then I see on Twitter that this film is not safe, boring and full of CGI, so I wait for the film to come onto VOD and yikes. Look, I'm going to say from the off that no, Wonder Woman 1984 is not the worst comic book superhero movie ever made, and like I've seen some people claim, it's not even close. Hellboy will probably hold that distinction forever, for me at least. But I found a lot of Wonder Woman 1984 frankly baffling. There's an opening sequence that either needs to be severely trimmed or removed completely. There was an hour where the film just dragged and was in dire need of the editor's scissors because this film, in no way, shape or form, needs to be 2.5 hours long. Very few films of this type need to be north of 2 hours, and this certainly isn't one of them. The script's in dire need of being trimmed as well. I mean, Kristen Wiig is a fine actor, but her character added nothing to the film that could have been safely removed, save her for a sequel, as opposed to having her for no real reason that I could work out. Because the central conflict of this film isn't a conflict in the physical sense. It's, well, actually, what is the central conflict of this film? That you need to be careful what you wish for? That the hard but honest way beats the easy way? That you shouldn't wish to be like Gal Gadot? I guess it's a monkey's paw, be careful what you wish for situation, as that's the story that gets name dropped, but this film is just so saggy and in dire need of not just editing, but a few more rewrites, especially around poor Kristen Wiig as Cheetah, who, like I've said, doesn't need to be there at all. You could just replace her with a generic goon or scientist and nothing would really change, which is a shame, as Cheetah is the only Wonder Woman villain that I can name off the top of my head, except instead of saving her for the third film where she could have been allowed to breathe and develop, here she's just wasted and seemingly exists purely for an appalling looking fight scene at the end, which is a shame, as the film up until then, when it did have action scenes, had been fun, exciting, thrilling and looked great, and then right at the end we get a fight between Goldar and a reject from Cats. Which is a shame, as Pedro Pascal, having fun being allowed to show his face for once, is great as Maxwell Lord, perhaps the ultimate people pleaser who is an interesting, complex character and should have been the sole villain focus of the film. Especially since this film seems to have more of a philosophical tone to it, as physically Lord poses as much threat as an ice cream does to me on a hot summer day, which is frustrating as the film's ending makes no logical sense. If I was to take a shot every time my wife and I spotted a plot hole, logical inconsistency, or something that just plain didn't need to be there, we wouldn't have made it out the first third alive. And as for the way the film brought Chris Pine back, I can't describe it without mild spoilers, so skip ahead if you don't want to know. Wonder Woman wishes for Pine to be brought back, and instead of coming back, but she can only see him in mirrors, a la American Werewolf in London, or as a ghost, or in a body that will only last for 24 to 48 hours, or even back as a member of the undead with a fully functional brain trapped inside a rotting corpse, he's brought back as a body snatcher of some guy. Does this guy have a family, a job, a life? Or was he dead and Pine's spirit was placed in his body as he died at the same moment as Diana wished for Pine to come back? Did Pine's spirit choose him? I mean, if it was pot luck, it's good that Pine didn't get someone who couldn't take part in thrilling fight scenes because he possessed a baby or someone with arthritis or was on a ventilator. Also, was this guy in the sunken place? Was he conscious? Or did he just fall asleep in his bed one night and not wake up again? Also, since Pine and Diana play hide the tiara later, there's all sorts of questions about assault and consent, none of which needed to be there. None of these questions needed to be there. This film is by no means perfect, but a major pile of pointless issues could have been avoided by a small change like that. Okay, toys back in pram, and woosah. I mean, at times this film is downright gorgeous to look at. It's got some great moments of heart and fun, as well as some great story and character moments that just get bogged down by literally everything else. Wonder Woman 1984 isn't completely hopeless. There is a good, interesting, different superhero film in here where, yes, there were exciting moments, interesting characters, a good story, but it just came with so much baggage. Very few films of this time need to be 151 minutes long, and Wonder Woman 1984, Wonder Woman 2 was probably ruled out for obvious reasons, as was Wonder Woman 2, Wonder Harder, is not one of them. its first scene needed to go. There's a whole hour that needs a serious reworking and trimming, a ton of plot holes that need fixing, and ending that's just a mess. But there's a good heart here. There's good actors here. There's mostly good effects here. There's a lot of fun here. It just needed the script to undergo some serious tweaks and at least 45 minutes shaved off of its horrifyingly bloated runtime. So I just think you should skip it. But what do you guys think? And what's your most disappointing superhero film? Comment below, let me know. I'm Daniel, it's been a dunking. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, and subscribe.